Hi folks, and welcome to today's video. 5 modern life triggers making your back pain worse. Now, first time here, my name is Colin. I make a lot of great content for folks out there suffering with low back pain problems. Sciatica nerve pain, bulging discs, herniated discs, lumbar stenosis. If that is you, hit that subscribe button. You'll get notified for more great content getting you back on the road to pain-free recovery. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. So folks, in today's video, I'm going over 5 modern life triggers that are probably making your back pain worse. Could be your neck pain, could be your mid-back pain, more than likely your low back pain, okay? First time here, my name's Colin. I myself have brought myself back from twice having an L5, S1 disc herniation, 20 years apart. I've got bulging discs in my neck, I've got torn meniscus in my right knee, I've got torn ligaments in both hips, labrum torn in the left shoulder, various other injuries and ailments throughout my body, but I am here pain-free today, bringing a lot of good content to get folks suffering with these problems, low back pain especially, herniated discs, back on the road to pain-free recovery. So let's dive in with number 1, okay? Many people are guilty of this. Take a walk down any street today, you'll see people on their phones like this, walking in the street, okay? And we've got a new condition now, it's called tech neck, right? Technological neck, basically technology neck. Because people are spending so much time on their phones, on their tablets, and then when they get home, they sit in the same position, on a curled position, looking at their phone, looking at the tablet, right? Creates a lot of stress throughout this upper back region. People start getting tightened, issues with the neck, tissues, trapezius, etc. Headaches, all these things start to manifest, okay? So if you are, okay, one of those people, right, you got to start putting your phone down, taking more breaks, adjust, okay, your workstation height, right? I've actually got a specific video, it's going to show up at the end of this one, right, which goes into setting up your home workstation, it could be your office workstation, for the correct optimal positions to prevent mid-back, upper back, and lower back pain, all right? Now, number 2, another condition which could be especially affecting your lower back pain is being overweight. Now, I know you don't need another reason, okay, we hear about it every day in the news, obesity is on the increase here, people are using Ozempic and various other different things for losing weight, but extra weight on your joints, especially on your lower back, if you do have an existing back problem, is going to make things worse, okay? You're carrying more weight, more load, it does stress the joints more. So if you don't need another reason, well, there is another one, okay? Losing a few pounds, losing a few kilos will help to take some stress off that back and reduce your pain, all right? Another big one, number 3, is poor lifting mechanics. It could be at the workplace, could be in the home, could be in the gym, yeah? Now, yes, the spine is meant to flex forward, okay? Nature wasn't stupid, right? If the spine was not designed to flex this way, why was it made that way, right? However, repetitive flexion, repetitive loads like this, okay, can worsen back pain, of course. You want a good example? Look at sheep shearers. That's the guys that take the wool off of the sheep, okay? They get some of the highest rates of a low back pain injury because they're spending hours a day bent over like this, okay, shearing the sheep, right? So when you lift, you want to be trying to encourage, especially if you're at home, okay, lifting heavy objects, right? You want to try to encourage hip hinging, okay? Lift with your glutes, okay? Your legs, try not to put your back into a flex position. Yes, in some instances, you will have to, bend over. There's no way to do it. Try to use what's called the golfer's lift technique. So you can use one hand for support, okay? You go down, pick thing, you pick the leg up at the back, right? Yes, there will be times where you do have to flex. If you do have to flex to pick something up, try to brace that core, okay? Like somebody's trying to push you, brace. It's called stoop lifting. A lot of the strong men do that when they're carrying the big stones, okay? Go down and really brace as you pick up, okay? But try to avoid that as much as possible because I'll often see in the gym, guys have great technique when they deadlift, boom. But then they go to put the weights back and they're like bending and twisting, flexing, okay? And that's one of the worst things you can do is with a heavy load is flexion and rotation. It's a lot of stress, a lot of shearing stress on your lumbar spine. So try to improve your lifting mechanics and be more thoughtful about your spine hygiene, okay, when you are actively doing chores, etc. around the house. Now, another big one, which is most likely contributing to your back pain, is muscle deconditioning, which is it's a complicated way of saying basically lazy lifestyle, right? Use it or lose it, as they say. The less you do, you're not stimulating your muscles, not stimulating your bones, okay? The weaker the bones become, okay, the muscle tissue atrophies, gets smaller, right? You become weaker overall. There's more stress on the joints directly because the muscles are not supporting them, tendons, ligaments, etc. You get a lot of stress. Then your pain will increase, okay? You want to get up and do something. I don't mean you got to go to the gym, right? But you got to get active, be it walking, hill walking, bit of cycling, go to the pool, try to do some strength work. I mean, you don't have to go to the gym. You can use it's a TRX. I've got one hanging back here. It's these suspension training systems, okay? You can pick them up on Amazon, 25, 30 bucks, whatever. They're great for home workouts. I use them a lot with my clients, okay? Get moving, all right? As we say, use it or lose it, all right? That's number 4. Now, number 5 is sitting too much, okay? We were never designed to sit as long as we do in today's lifestyle. You get out of bed in the morning, grab breakfast, maybe you do, maybe you don't, sit in the car, go to work, sit at the desk all day, okay? Sit in the car, come home, and sit around at home all night, right? You got to get up and move, because when you sit for too long, there's something happens. It's called tissue creep. Now, I've got a separate video on this. I'll link it at the end of this one, okay? There's will be 2 videos at the end. There's going to be the one for setting up your workstation and one about tissue creep. Now, tissue creep is basically, in layman's terms, when you sit in one position for too long, especially flexion position for too long, the tissue starts to kind of deform, starts to loosen, okay? It doesn't cause an injury, but what they found is when you kind of get out of that position, right, it takes exponentially longer for that tissue to return to its more kind of stable, safe state, if you will. So what they find is that when this tissue creep occurs, and it happens within 10 minutes of being in that kind of flexed sort of spine sitting position, the muscles have to work a lot harder to stabilize the body, okay, because it's more like lucid, if you will, right? And it takes a lot longer for that to return. So you have to make sure you're getting up every hour, maybe go to the photocopier if you're working in an office, grab a glass of water if you're working from home, okay? Stop at the gas station, get out the car, walk around for a few minutes if you're doing a long drive, because the tissue creep, it doesn't in itself injure you, but it sets yourself up for injury potential down the line, okay? So you got to get up and move more, yeah? So basically, sit less, move more, okay? Is the simple answer to that one, all right? So folks, listen, short video today, but these are probably 5 of the top things that are making your back pain worse, which you can turn around today, okay? Doesn't cost you anything, just be much more aware of your daily activities, your daily life, and your current daily spine hygiene. Of course, comments, questions, hit me up down below. If you enjoyed the content today, subscribe for more great content to get you back on the road to pain-free living. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.